Silpats. These are the silicone spatulas I don't use. And then decorative wine. I just asked Han to get some pink wine because I thought it would look
Guys,
pretty.
if you want to suggest some videos, exclamation Discord, and go into React suggestions right here. I'll even move it up higher for you under announcements. Click on React suggestions and copy and paste a couple videos that you want to see. I don't play every single video, but if I feel like it's appropriate and it will be a good video to play, I'll play it. So check it out.
It looks nice.
Andy never said hello to me for 4 years. Maybe next year. I'm just kidding. Hey, Swiss, how you doing?
Nice, right? A little pop of color. Sola here, and today on Off Script, I'm going to show you how to braise anything. Braising is a really simple technique that just has 3 steps. First, you want to sear whatever you're braising to develop nice brown, roasty, toasty flavors. Second, we're going to create a foundation of flavor by cooking down some aromatics. And then third, everything gets simmered together until the flavors meld and everything gets nice and tender. So today I'm going to show you 2 different braises, a totally vegan braised cabbage with cashew milk and a cashew chili crisp. And then we're going to do a pork shoulder braise with lots of garlic, anchovy, Calabrian chili, and white wine. These 2 totally different dishes come from the same exact technique. So once you watch this video and you learn everything about braising, you're going to be able to take this off script and braise whatever the hell you want. So stick around and be sure to like and subscribe so you can see what else I'm taking off script. She has arrived. We can begin shooting now. Clementine is here. We're going to start with the cabbage braise. When you char cabbage, it doesn't taste burnt or acrid. It's going to taste really nice and sweet. So we're going to go for it, get it really nicely charred.
You seem like the type of guy who reads esoteric
ginger, garlic, scallion,
Nietzschean literature while listening to Playboy Cardi.
And then the whole thing is going to get braised in a homemade cashew milk.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
It's going to simmer until the cabbage gets really tender, and the cashew milk is actually going to turn into like a little pudding. It's really cool what happens.
She looks like you.
So the most important thing is you want...
Do I look like her? I don't see it.
To braise the cabbage in something with a lid so that it can like seal in all those juices. It'll get nice and simmery and moist and amazing. This is a very small head of cabbage. You can use a normal sized head. This is what I could find. And we're gonna cut the cabbage into quarters. I'm gonna start by doing something really fun. We're gonna stab it several times, lots of holes, and shove garlic in there. This is a very joyous thing to do for me. I don't know. My mom would do this with a big lamb leg, shove tons of garlic in there. It's really fun to do, and then it's really fun when you're eating it to get these nice big tender pieces of garlic. This is preheating over medium-high heat, and I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of neutral oil. Today this is grapeseed because we need that high smoke point. No, that wasn't it. There was no sizzle. No sizzle at all. Let's let it get hotter. Searing vegetables, you can take it pretty far. When you're searing meat, you want to go for more of like a medium, high, moderate temperature because you don't want to burn it. If you burn meat, that tastes bad. When you burn vegetables, you develop a lot of caramelization, nice flavor. Cabbage and other vegetables in that family, like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, they taste really good when you get a really deep char on them. They get really sweet and nutty, and they lose that like raw vegetal flavor. Okay, that sounds sizzly. I'm gonna sprinkle over half a teaspoon of salt, and we're gonna let this cook undisturbed because we want to develop some nice color. It really helps if you have
the Bon Appetit show on YouTube, Z-Mud. Actually, she's one of the reasons why they kind of like they went through some shit, right? Because she stood up for herself and she was like, fuck these people. They're paying minorities shit wages, and they have a different way that they're treating all the white hosts and people that are cooking. So she called it out. The CEO stepped down for that and another reason, and some other old picture resurfaced of him dressing up as some like Latino guy with like spray tan. And yeah, so they're going through some kind of like, not cliche, but they're going through that whole like, not like canceling, but you know what I mean, like these people are fucked up. They're not treating people fairly. So they basically stopped putting out videos for a few months, and started hiring a more diverse cast of characters, and it seemed very forced to people. They're like, hey, look at all our minority friends now. So yeah, I don't know, it's just weird. And basically Sula was one of the first people to stand up for it, and she left Bon Appetit, and then Babish, Binging with Babish, hired her to work for him because he liked her and said, oh, these people are shitting on you, fuck Bon Appetit, I'm gonna hire you. That's the story.
Skillet or something heavy to put on top. I want more weight. I want even more weight. Hold on. I'm gonna put another pan on top of my pan. Whoa. And then a weight. We want like full contact with the pan so we can develop nice color.
A lot of people have been randomly asking about my chair lately. I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but the chair is LF Gaming.
Full contact. So I can smell that the cabbage is starting to smell like nice and brown and charred. So let's take a look and see how it's doing. Oh, we can go further. There's some color there, but we need more. We want more. Let's let it keep going. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah. I want this to be blackened.
Have you guys ever had proper corned beef and cabbage? Like, not necessarily on St. Patty's Day, but like, just like a corned beef and cabbage meal with like mustard and stuff. Oh my god, it's so good.
I want to get this kind of color all over. So I'm going to continue searing and press down to get a little more contact on this area. So you can braise any vegetable like this. We're just going to follow 3 basic steps. Sear, sweat aromatics, and then simmer. And it works for really anything.
I don't think it's like leather. I think it's a certain kind of breathable material that they came up with, because just straight up leather opti would not be ideal. So I don't know exactly. I forget the name of it, but it's like a special material that they made that's more breathable than leather, but it feels like leather. And then the whole chair kind of feels like, even the armrests all feel like memory foam. So, I mean, yeah, it's expensive, but for someone streaming full time, definitely worth it. You know, saves my fucking legs.
That's a little bit hardier. One of my favorite things to braise are mushrooms. Just like regular old buttons, when you cook them low and slow like this, they develop a lot of flavor. It's also great for carrots. You know, like the horse carrots you get in the bag, they're super cheap. If you take some time, get a lot of char on them and braise them, they get so flavorful.
What's the picture under food? All right, Sophie, I'll check it out.
It's just like a really inexpensive, tasty meal. We're going to make a really easy cashew milk. The cashew milk is going to be what we're braising our cabbage in. So here I've got some cashews that I soaked overnight in a couple cups of water and then drained it and rinsed them. And now I'm going to blend it with fresh water. So there goes the cashews. And we're going to blend it until it's really smooth. Now, cashew milk is my favorite milk to make at home. It blends totally smooth. You don't have to wring it through a nut bag or anything like that. If you want to do this with another nut milk, go for it. Go for whatever you've got. Just check out the procedure for making that nut milk. It's going to be a little bit different depending on the nut. Also, we're going to throw in a little salt, sugar, and MSG. I like MSG. If you don't like it, you can leave it out and just go with the salt and sugar. Okay, let's go blend this.
MSG gang.
Whoa. See how smooth, creamy it is without even straining? That's just cashews. Cashews are awesome. It's my favorite nut milk, but go for whatever you want. And if you want to make this really easy, just use a store-bought nut milk or a vegetable stock. I would avoid using water because since we are braising a vegetable, we need a little bit more flavor in our braising liquid than just water. Okay. Look at that good color. Super dark. I'm gonna turn this off because we've got some char at the bottom of the pan, which we want. It's gonna develop a lot of flavor, but we don't want it to like
Samurai, you don't want me to
burn as we
rate a
pull out
Philadelphia roll. I don't need to see a picture of it.
these pieces of cabbage. We rendered out a
If it's a Philadelphia roll, it already gets a thumbs down from me, Samurai. I don't fuck with that.
lot of fat, a lot of fat. So I'm gonna pour this off. We don't want this. We've developed some nice brown fond at the bottom of the pan, which we do want, but this fat, this is too much. Not only is this too much fat, but it also got very hot. You can see it smoking, so it's not gonna be very tasty. So we're gonna empty it all out and then add another tablespoon of neutral oil to cook our aromatics in. Now we're gonna build a foundation of flavor by sauteing some aromatics. Step 1 of braise is done. We've seared. Step 2, we're gonna build our flavor. So I'm gonna add a tablespoon more of neutral oil because that cabbage just sucked up the oil that we threw in there. And then I'm gonna turn the heat back on. Wow, it's amazing how the flame just turns on. Here I got some scallions,
Nice,
garlic,
Samurai.
ginger, chili, a little coriander, and cinnamon. I'm gonna cook this for about a minute. We just want everything to wilt and kind of get a little translucent, get nice and tender. It's all gonna cook down for a while with the cashew
The guy
milk.
at the
So
bar
right
a
now
while
we're
back
just kinda
said he
getting it
loves
started.
sushi but didn't order anything with raw
Our
fish.
aromatics have nicely
It
wilted,
happens.
and now
I
I'm
mean,
going to deglaze
that's
with 1
fucking
cup of
America in
dry
a nutshell,
sake.
pickle.
But go ahead and use white wine. That totally will work too. It's kind of fun to try different things to deglaze with, like whiskey or vodka or whatever you've got, because it all brings a different like flavor to the party. You want to cook down your wine or sake or whatever alcohol you're using to deglaze until you can pull a trail with your spatula. So this is how you know it's reduced.
You saw the
Now I'm
clip of
gonna
YouTube
add
with me
my
and the
cashew
Hot Ones
milk.
guy? Yeah, that was a fun
Once
video
again,
to
you
make.
can do this with a store-bought nut milk, whatever you got, whatever you put in your coffee will be good here.
It
And
makes me
This is already seasoned, so I'm not going to add any
It
more
makes
salt
me
at
not
this point.
regret
I'm
turning
just
down
gonna let
Hot
it come to a
Ones.
simmer. But if you do use a store-bought nut milk, be sure to add some
Because
seasoning.
I feel like I
at
got
this
something
point.
even
You
better,
want it to taste
which is
good,
Sean
you
out
know?
of his element.
Season it until
eating
it tastes right,
sushi.
until all the flavors are popping. We're going to bring this up to a simmer, and then I'm going to return the cabbage, throw it in the oven.
Yeah, she's cool,
And then
pickle.
that's it. That's a brace. You can do this. So easy. You sear, you sweat, and then you simmer. That sounds
Sean's
like
a very nice guy.
a spa.
He's a really good interviewer
Sear,
too.
sweat, and simmer. People would probably pay a lot for someone to do that to them. I'm gonna lid it.
Hell no,
Oops,
Bruce.
and this is going to go
Hell
in the
fucking
oven
no.
for 45 minutes. You don't have to braise in the oven. You can braise on the stovetop. Doing in the oven is just like a little bit. You get more even cooking because you're getting heat all around instead of just from the bottom. And because you're
I'm
getting that
going
even
through a
cooking,
list of
the
videos.
liquid doesn't evaporate as rapidly. When you braise on the stove top, your liquid's going to cook down pretty fast, and you're going to have to kind of babysit it. Get in there, check it, add more water if needed. In the oven, it's pretty much like set it and forget it, so that's my preferred method. But if you don't want to turn on your oven, you don't have to. Do whatever you want.
Samurai, what the fuck?
Just remember to sear, sweat, and simmer. Because the pork is
Samurai suggested my sushi video.
going to take like 4 hours to cook. I made one already. Boom. Because this chilled overnight, all of the fat has congealed on
I
the
played it
top.
on stream before.
Instead
I
of
mean,
being
I
in the
haven't
stew,
played it in
so
a
you
long
can go in there
time,
and
so.
just pop it off. Just scoop it right off the surface. You can try and skim your braise while it's hot with a little spoon or ladle, but you're never gonna get as much of the fat off.
haven't
as
seen it?
easily
Alright, I
as
can
if
play it.
You chill it. Whoa, look at that. It's a lot of fat. My bowl of fat. Just holding a bowl of fat. Okay. Now, you can have this cold. Very good. But we're gonna show you how to heat it up. Just add like a 1/4 cup of water. Nothing crazy. Just a splash, just to get it going. And I'm gonna start by heating it up on the stove until we get to a simmer, and then throw it into the oven until the internal temperature of the pork is 165. We wanna make sure we heat it up all the way before serving. Bubbles. Awesome.
Add some crunch.
With the braise, because we're cooking in moist
'Cause it's
heat,
mushy.
everything's gonna be kind of like soft and succulent. So I like to put a crispy topping. So for
That's actually a good call.
our cabbage braise, I'm gonna make a simple like cashew chili crisp to add some texture and flavor. And we're also gonna fry up some shallots. We're gonna go over high heat and stir constantly. We always do like big batches of this and just have it for putting on everything.
I'm not
it's
sure,
really good.
Kirk.
And then you
Maybe.
have this really tasty oniony oil to cook everything in. I just store it in a container lined with paper towels because they do continue to like kind of seep a little bit of oil. And if you really want to go like pro, the move is to throw in a desiccant packet. You know, like the little packets of like silica gel that you get in your fancy snacks? Throw something like that in there. Whenever I get those packets, we just save them, put them in the dehydrator, and then they're like new silica packets, and you can throw them into your shallots. It's like a really useful thing to have around because there's no container that's truly airtight.
Have you had Polish food?
Season it up with a little
yeah.
bit of salt.
I've had Polish food
And
a few
I shall
times.
set this aside. This oil is going to go back
Aren't
into the pot.
pierogies Polish, or
It
are
is
they
now
Czech?
really nicely flavored from the shallots.
I've had other Polish food too,
And
though.
I'm going to add some chopped raw cashews, and we're going to cook them until they get nicely browned and toasted. So chili crisp is a Chinese condiment.
That's another example of a ethnic food that, even though I didn't grow up with, is super comforty. Pierogies are fucking crazy comfort food.
The
really
traditional
good.
one, the real one, is a little bit more intense than this. It's easy to like riff on at home. I love making different kinds of chili crisps. Chili crisp.
Do I like French food? Some of it.
Like different dishes.
I like
You can do it with
escargot.
sesame
I like
seeds. You can use like different chilies, like
what's it called?
go
Coq au
for like
vin?
a Mexican style chili crisp. Hey Rick, how's it going? With like guajillo
Beef
chilies,
bourguignon.
pasilla chilies, sesame seeds and peanuts. Go for more of like an Indian vibe with Kashmiri red chilies and like toasted lentils. You can really have a lot of fun with it. So once they get deeply golden, I'm gonna take it off the heat and I'm gonna add gochugaru, which are mild Korean chili flakes, some sugar, salt, and MSG. I really like these chili flakes because they're not very hot, but they're very flavorful. But if you don't have them, you can use like half the amount of crushed red pepper flakes. You can put it on a lot of different things. Okay, so chili crisp is done. Whoa, look at that color. You can make this way in advance. We're just gonna let this hang out until we're ready to serve. And then cabbage.
That sounds so familiar. It's, what is it? Potatoes with what?
Aha.
Sophie, it does sound so familiar. I feel like I
It's
have.
ready to go.
But
So
explain
the
it.
cabbage is totally tender. The cashew milk does something really cool and it turns into a pudding. It like breaks
Ew.
and it's like creamy.
I'm
and
not down with that cashew cabbage thing. I don't fucking get where she's going with that. That looks nasty as fuck to me.
I like to serve this. You would not guess that there is no protein, like no animals. No animals were harmed in the making of this dish. And now I'm gonna finish it with this cashew chili crisp. I like kind of a lot, but you know, I think you should start with a little and serve it on the table so people can add more as they like. We're gonna do a little bit of, I reserved some of my scallion for top. And now, even more crunch with some of our crispy shallots. And boom, charred braised cabbage with cashew milk and cashew chili crisp. What do you think? You can do this. Why do you
I'll
look so
fuck with the
suspicious?
pork.
Oh.
That
The cabbage, like,
cooked cashew milk thing is kind of off-putting. Scalloped potatoes. Yeah, I have had that before. I remember there's a French place I used to get food from in LA, and it came with like a steak and then those scalloped potatoes on the side, and they were fucking super rich but really good.
crumbs on top for some, like, texture. Okay, I want to bite with everything. Getting a little breadcrumb. A little bit of bread. This one has so much depth of flavor from those anchovies. Man, it brings this like really nice brininess that balances out with the fatty pork. You can get that little bit of heat from the Calabrian chili. This isn't a super spicy dish. This guy, spicy. Here, the Calabrian's just like a high note in the back. These two dishes, completely different, same technique. So you can do this. You can just change up your main braising focus, change up your protein, change up your vegetable. You can even do this with fish. I really love braised catfish, something I grew up eating a lot of. The skin gets really like jammy and tender. It's really nice in something like light and brothy, like tomato and turmeric. Braised lamb shank is another one that's like fantastic with kefir. Give it a shot. The kefir is gonna curdle, add some nice acidity, richness, and really try any vegetable. Braised, fantastic. Keep the pieces whole big button mushrooms, like a squash cut just into quarters, and greens, like hearty greens. Like I wouldn't do something like baby spinach in this technique because it's just gonna cook down and turn into mush. But a big piece of bok choy just cut into quarters, cooked just the same way. You can change up the flavors.
Bok
There's so much
choy,
you can...
baby bok choy.